This video is the start of a series that I've been wanting to do since I started YouTube, and I feel it's a great way to entertain you guys and finally play the games that I've been slacking on for a while. The premise of this series is that I go into my game archive and pick out a game that's been sitting there either unplayed or unfinished and give my impressions on it before and after finally playing and or finishing it. The very first game on this list for the first episode of this series is Dredge. Dredge is a fishing game where you explore different islands in a peaceful area. The problem with this is that the town feels anything but peaceful. People have gone missing, and you start to hear weird sounds. This is where the other part of the game comes in, Lovecraftian horror. This game was developed by Black Salt Games and published by Team 17. It has been almost a year since I've played this game, and I have less than an hour on the game at the time of writing the script. The reason I stopped playing this game is really simple. The last time I played it was on December 24th of last year. So what I'm guessing happened is that Christmas came around, and I got excited about new things and forgot about the game and never went back. But today, that changes. The reason I bought this game was actually not even really because I wanted it. It was because I was buying Dave the Diver and it was on sale. And one of the things that was on the Steam page was a bundle of the two games being sold together. So I bought it because I had heard about the game, but I had no idea what it was even about. And even now, a year later, I still really don't even know what it's about. But today is the day I finally figure it out. The last thing I want to do before actually playing the game is to lay out all of my thoughts about the game and see how much they change when I actually put the time into the game. My thoughts before playing the game are that you play fishing mini-games to earn money and upgrade your ship so you can catch bigger fish. But sometimes there happens to be a scary fish that attacks you, and you have to find the right gear or react the correct way to survive. My thoughts right now are limited, due to my limited time on the game. So let's see how much they brought in after playing the game for a few hours more. Time to hop in, and I will get back to you guys when I finally have a good grasp on Dredge. For you, this was just a couple of seconds, but I have just gone and played Dredge for a little under 4 hours, and while I know that covers nowhere near the amount of time necessary to get far into the game and get into the deep content, I have just finished several quest lines and gotten major ship upgrades. I can also summarize the things that I know about the game without getting to spoiler territory. Before I get into the new things that I learned, I would like to start with the misconceptions I had while going in. First and foremost, when I said you just so happen to run into a scary thing every once in a while, I was very wrong. It doesn't matter what time of day it is, as long as your panic meter is high, you're going to get attacked by plenty of things. This is the first game that's actually scared me since Subnautica, and that says a lot. If you couldn't tell, the ocean can be scary to me and many others because you just don't know what's lurking underneath you. That's really the only major misconception I had. The only other sort of misconception is that it never really gave me the vibe of peaceful. And while I meant that in kind of air quotes anyway, it just never gave me the vibe that they're trying to make something peaceful. Now let's get into the new stuff that I learned while playing in this 4-hour session. The coolest thing to me is the abilities you get on your ship. I've only unlocked 2 so far, the haste and the camera abilities, but both are pretty fun to use, and especially the haste one because there's a drawback to it because your ship overheats. I'm actually excited to unlock the rest of the abilities on the ability wheel no matter what they may be. Another thing I forgot to mention in the first half of this video is that there are certain rods that can only catch fish in certain areas, such as certain rods only being able to catch oceanic fish, and certain rods only being able to catch in the shallows, and so on. The reason I say I forgot is because I've played this game enough to know that, but I just kind of forgot throughout the year I haven't played this game. Something else I learned while making this video that doesn't really have anything to do with the gameplay of Dredge is that they won an award at the IGN Awards 2023. They won the best indie game, which was surprising to me because in that year there were just so many good indie games. But even with my 4 hours of gameplay, I can still justify them winning this award. There are so many questlines in Dredge that I've found so far, I honestly feel overwhelmed. There are so many people that you meet just by pulling up to a random island you see, and there's at least 4 people at certain islands, and maybe 1 to 2 at the ones that are smaller. And I'm not complaining though, there's always that type of thing when starting a new game, and I'm not the type of person to complain about a lot of content, but it's just a little hard. When I say that it's hard, I don't mean hard difficulty-wise. I mean more that it's hard to keep track of. There's a place where you can keep track of your quests, but even that just feels like a big spreadsheet that's hard to understand sometimes. Sort of because I like to do side quests alongside the main quests, but maybe I just haven't seen it, but I don't know which one's the main quest or the side quest, and I just kind of do what I see at the time. Something that I was going to write down as my only other complaint honestly, after thinking about it, really isn't even a complaint at all. And that's just how long it takes you to get to every island. This seemed like a complaint at first because I would be going to an island and think to myself, that 1 to 2 minutes that it took to get to the island just isn't fun. But the reason I don't think this is a complaint anymore is because you can upgrade your engine to give you more power and speed. This makes the low engine speed sort of a mental barrier on being able to travel to every single island at the start of the game. It's not necessarily barring you, you can still go to those islands if you want, but you probably won't want to because you're just so slow. And that's a really innovative way to keep gamers out of certain places the developers don't want them to be at that time. Another thing I also appreciate about the game is that you can use your dredge crane to pick up supplies that you find in the water. This is cool because you can go to the shipwright at the main village and buy upgrades from her using those materials and a little bit of extra cash. This also ties into the skill tree, where you have research points throughout the game you can use on the skill tree to unlock better versions of the things you already have, such as rods, engines, nets, and your hull. Something I'm curious about that I haven't yet seen in the game is if you can catch the monsters or not, or if there's a way to take them out other than just running from them. I wonder if this ties into a different ability you get into the game or some type of item you can pick up, or maybe even a combination of both. I doubt you can catch them just due to how big they are, but it would be cool if you could take them down instead of just running away and trying to rest as fast as possible. In my last video, I went over some of my favorite art styles from the games I've played throughout the years. If I end up continuing that series, this game will be 100% on the list. I love the way the water looks, the monsters look, and the way the scenery in the background looks. I think the art style is so good because during the day it looks peaceful, but as soon as it turns to night, all of a sudden it starts to look so much more eerie. Those are the main things that stood out to me in my first 4 hours of playing the game. After doing this video, I plan on finishing this game, and if the video does well, I would be more than happy to make an updated part 2 to this video, where I see if anything has changed about my perception from now to the very end of the game, but that's only if this video does well. This doesn't really have anything to do with the video itself, but I don't know where else to say it. I want to come out and say thank you for 100 subscribers and the thousands of views you guys have given me in the past couple weeks. This entire channel started because me and my friend were talking one night and I said I wanted to try it. He told me go for it, and I got more success than I really thought I was ever going to get. So I want to thank you all for watching these videos and giving me something fun to do and maybe even make it into a job someday. With all that being said, I want to thank you again for watching this video. I personally really like the idea of going into my old games that I either haven't played yet or have played very little and finishing them to make a good video out of and to get my money's worth on the games that I bought. I hope you all have a great rest of your day. God bless.